Good morning, friends. So today I'm going to continue with the information in this book, which is by Venerable Master Ensun. This is called the Discourse of the Prajna Sutras. Here in the book, there are two sutras was presented. One is the very, well, both of them are very famous. One is the Heart Sutra, the other one is the Diamond Sutra. They both are from a very long series of the Prajna Paramita Sutras. It's started with 8,000 lines to like over almost 100,000 lines, describing, teaching what is the Prajna Paramita. So this is actually a condensed or the essence of the Prajna Paramita Sutras. This is, I believe, my third or fourth, probably about fourth talk about the Heart Sutra. So for this year, I focus on the Heart Sutra, introduction to the Heart Sutra. And the Heart Sutra was translated from Sanskrit into Chinese. It's 268 Chinese characters. And you can see, in the middle, this is the entire Heart Sutra presented. There are many translations into English. For example, Venerable Thich Nhat Hanh had a very good translation. Also, Red Pine, a very well-known Buddhist scholar, translated the Heart Sutra also. So if you're interested in the direct translation, I do have a copy, and Maba has a copy in English, okay? So welcome to access those resources. Now, when we start to talk about, well, actually, when I start to talk, I hate to use the word I, but I have to use it. So when the talk begins, I started with introducing what is a prajna. So we went through a few informational concepts taught by the Buddha. Very important thing is about the three Dharma seals: dukkha, suffering, anicca, impermanence, and anatta, non-self. Those three pieces of information, I think I already presented in my previous 3 talks. So I'm not going to repeat that. Again, all the slides I present from the talk will be, they are available for any people, anyone who is interested. Just email me or, let Venerable Kongshi know, then I will send you a copy of them, okay? Now, prajna. Begin with, we're trying to explain what is prajna. So there are certain definitions like understanding, like intelligent. How about wisdom? So those are some of the definitions. Go a little bit further. How about insight? Like Master just talked about. How about non-discrimination, non-discriminating knowledge? How about intuitive apprehension? Now, these are the descriptions by a Buddhist scholar, again, Kuan. So those are very beautiful, very effective, very precise descriptions about prajna. not limited to those descriptions. Those are some of the descriptions. Now, since it has been translated from Sanskrit into Chinese character, so how about we take a look on the Chinese character of prajna? Commonly in the Chinese character, we divided, I should say divided, we present the word prajna into two Chinese characters. One is zhi, the other one is hui, and we put them together as zhi, hui. Now, zhi meaning exceptional knowledge. Now, if you were here last week for the beginners retreat, and you can listen to Master talk about, the 3 levels of developing zhi, actually 4, because, the sila, samadhi, prajna, and then right emancipation, and then the right knowledge, okay? So zhi belongs to the knowledge part of it, and hui is the transcendental wisdom. That's the definition, from the Chinese character. Then what is prajna? Again, I have to refer to this book. And later on, we will give some definition presented or discoursed by Master Venerable Insun. Now, I post some information from the Digha Nikaya number 33. It kind of classified prajna into 3 levels. One is called the Suttamaya Panya. Panya is the Pali word, prajna is the Sanskrit word. So the first one is called the Suttamaya Panya, wisdom attained through learning and listening. And there are some criteria that we have to fulfill. When we want to develop the Suttamaya Panya, we have to first associate with the wise, meaning that we have to learn somebody, right? Either the book or some teachers, specifically from the Buddha. And the Buddha is not here now, so what do? So we learn the teaching passing down by the Sangha community, by the monastic, by the lay teachers. But make sure that what we are listening is the righteous Dhamma. So how do we evaluate that whether the teaching is right or it's deviate from the original teaching? There is a yardstick to measure. The yardstick is the 3 Dhamma seals. If somebody talk about anicca, impermanence, somebody talk about anatta, non-self, somebody talk about anicca. Those are the 3 marks of existence. Then we know that this is in accordance to the Buddha's teaching. So listening to the righteous Dhamma is one of the very important criteria that we can develop the Suttamaya Panya. And then we have to have faith. What kind of faith? This kind of faith is more than the religious way of faith. It is confidence. It is trust. Now, trust not only to the Buddha, to the Dhamma, to the Sangha, but to yourself too. Make sure that you trust yourself that, yes, I do have the capability. I do have the right thinking or right direction. I am capable to learn. That is very important because if, yes, we trust the the triple jewel, but then, no, this is not for me. Then I don't have the confidence to learn. So we have to have faith in ourselves too, not the kind of faith that we are being arrogant, being proud, or anything like that. But we have the humble, we have the trust that, yes, I learned this Dharma, I learned this teaching, but I have the faith in myself that I am capable to learn. I am capable to advance. I am capable to move from or to advance from an ordinary, untrained mind to the mind of a liberated person. So that is very important. The next one is called the Chintamaya Panya. So after we listen, we have to go home and think, investigate, reason, logically or illogically, mainly logically, okay? So we have to think about it. What I learned, is it in accordance to the three seals? What I learned is would it be helping me to develop wholesome actions? Now, actions meaning mental, verbal, and physical actions. Okay, so we have to think about it, and then we have to be able. That is why faith is so important. We are capable, right? So we are able to discern, to make the differences between wholesome, unwholesome, virtuous, non-virtuous. Not that I encourage duality, but at least at this point of time, after listening, we have to find out, is this right? Am I going the right direction? That's very important. Then we need to put in efforts. So those are the two criteria for developing the Chintamaya Prajna or Panya. The third one is the Bhavanamaya Panya, the kind of wisdom that attained through realization. Yes, we go to Mava, we listen, and then we go home and sit there and I think, but I don't practice. So what good is that? Right? So we have to listen, learn, think about it, and then we have to practice in accordingly. And this requires effort. And this requires also faith. Because if we don't faith, you can see that faith is almost in everywhere. Faith and effort. Because if we don't have faith, then we'll sit down and think, then we don't practice. We just sit in front of the TV and watch the episode. So we'll have to think about this. Am I practicing accordingly? If I want, it's a choice, okay? Nobody is forcing anybody, but it's a choice. But the Buddha said that if you practice accordingly, we'll be able to get the mind steady and sharp. And what kind of decision we make with the steady and sharp mind, it's going to lead us to the right direction. It's going to lead us from suffering. Because I just experienced it personally from last week to this week. the entire journey. So it's really fun. Not only fun, it's practical too. So I have to go back to the book now. This is by Master Venerable Insun. The book is called The Discourse on Prajna Sutras. He classified the prajna into three groups or three steps, I would say. One is called the worldly or mundane prajna. It's more related to the analytical skill. Okay, if we like a doctor, Mark, you're a doctor, right? Going to be a doctor. So that is the kind of mundane prajna we have to acquire, right? We have to have those analytical skills. So those are more related, not that they are bad or is inferior or anything like that. It's just like step by step. Like we have to start from the elementary school to the high school, all the way up, right? So that's the first step. So before becoming a doctor, you have to start from the undergrad and then grad school and then all the way up, right? Same thing. Not that it's inferior or superior, not in that kind of direction. It's that some foundation we have to lay down before we can build the building. Then the next one is called the transcendent or supramundane prajna. And this one, according to Venerable Master Insun, he said this kind of prajna is not destroyable. It can cut through the defilements and stop the process of papancha. We talk about papancha a lot of the time. Direct translation would be conceptual proliferation. Like when one thought arises, the sense door come in contact with the external object, then feeling arises, perception arises, and the mind will go wide. Okay, so then again, Master Venerable Insun kind of further explain the word prajna and then group into three. Number one is called the prajna of realization or reality or the true nature. The second one is the insight prajna or prajna of contemplation or observation. And then third one is the language or word prajna, meaning the prajna expressed by language or word. Then let's go into it into a little bit detail. So Master Insun said that the prajna of realization, the reality or the true nature, first we have to understand what are the true nature. And he said that the true nature cannot be described as existing or non-existing. The true nature cannot be imagined as this or that, big or small. So the true nature is apart from all kinds of expression. Like if I use language to describe the true nature, it's wrong. It's not the true nature at all. So it cannot be expressed through language, word, or conception. Then the true nature is surpassed the mental proliferation. The true nature cannot be referred as empty or non-empty. The true nature of all phenomena is Yata Buddha, as it is. And it can only be attained through realization. So there are some questions arise in this kind of description. And we were talking about the true natures is empty in nature, then you're saying that is neither empty nor non-empty. So what is the meaning of that? So let's just continue with the next one. The next one is called the insight prajna, or prajna of contemplation. Now, the description or explanation of this statement is that we need to investigate and reason. We need to practice and develop concentration before we can penetrate into what is the true nature. We have to observe the empty nature of all phenomena to realize their depending origination. I'll give one example. This glass case, when I look at it with an untrained eye and mind, this would be a plastic case, and its function is to hold my glass, right? When I look at it. But then, because I like it so much, I'm going to cling to it. And this is mine. Nobody takes it away. And what if I break it? I'll be crying. Oh, my lovely eyeglass case. I miss you. I cannot do without you. Without knowing that this is just a compositional existence. When I break it apart, it's nothing but plastic. It's just, the function is gone. It's just a piece of tool that, to hold my glass. Because of my untrained mind, I attached it too much without knowing it is only existing at this point of time in this specific space. And it just happened to be in this color with the function. Okay, so with the untrained eye and mind, I cannot perceive the true nature of whatever is existing, internal, and external. Okay. So with the insight prajna, we'll put an end to all conceptual proliferation because we see the truth, we investigate, we reason, we logically thinking about it. So develop contemplation or concentration is one important step towards the realization of the true nature. So we need to develop the Chintamaya Panya. Chintamaya meaning thinking. Chinta, the mind. Okay. Then go to the next one. It's called the language or word prajna, meaning the prajna expressed by language or word. We just said that prajna cannot be explained or expressed. But remember, that's the true reality prajna, not the ordinary prajna. We all have the born with prajna. We all have the born with ability of comprehension. But we have to develop with a clear, steady, sharp mind to penetrate into the very subtle reality. So it looks like Master Insun is kind of, doing the high level and then coming down a little bit, right? The reality and then investigation and then the words. Now, why is he doing this? We'll explain it in just a moment. But with the language or word prajna, that means anything, verbal, books, reading. In the Chinese school, the Chan master will take up a stick and hit on your head. That is a language. That is an expression. Okay? So body language, any kind facial expression, those are word prajna. Okay? And we can utilize them. We can use any kind of tool to learn the teaching. So kind of go back a little bit, reverse the step a little bit. So he said, begin with the language prajna. We listen to the righteous Dhamma. We accept with faith to develop the Suttamaya prajna or pranya. Then the next step will be, let's investigate and reflect. So the right thinking and reflection to understand the teaching, then develop concentration. So it is a necessary step with mindfulness meditation. Then with clear and steady mind to observe the true nature of all phenomena, that is the empty nature and the conditional arising nature. If the condition is not favorable, this won't exist. If we don't have the plastic available, if we don't have people to design it, if we don't have manufacturer to manufacture it, if we don't have the middleman or the salesperson to sell it, would it exist? Can I have it? So those are the true nature, that when we look at something, we do not just judge it. We do not just look at it according to our habitual pattern. So that is the teaching. Then when the clear and steady mind is developed, we can actually experience it, not just knowing it by word, by language. We have to experience it. So in that way, we can stay away from all illusion. We can not be cheated or deluded by this kind of appearance. We can look through the reality of it. So what good is that? If we look at this through the reality, I won't attach to it. Okay? I will understand this is just a tool to contain my eyeglasses. So we can actually experience it. At that time, reality prajna is fully developed and realized. I plan to complete this talk. See, I have about 5 minutes. Let me see if I can go through it real quick, okay? The next one is I would like to explain a little bit about emptiness, the sunyata. So emptiness is not nothingness. It's not like an empty cup. There is nothing in there. So emptiness has three kind of characteristics. Before we understand emptiness, let's take a look of non-emptiness. What is non-emptiness? Because if I want to say something is empty, I have to understand what is non-empty. So the definition of non-emptiness is it has to be permanent, unbreakable. If I consider this is permanent, I drop it, it breaks, then It is empty or not empty? Is it empty or not empty? If I drop it and break it. Okay, it's actually something that is conditional arising can be destroyed. Okay, so it's not permanently existing. It's immutable essence. I'm talking about non-emptiness, not emptiness. Okay, it should be independently existing without any condition. And it's absolutely actual, it's absolute actuality of substance or mentality. So those are the descriptions of an intrinsic nature, which is non-emptiness. Okay. Then Edward Coase described it like this. He says all dhammas are empty in the sense that in their reality, no self can be found, nothing that owns, nothing that belongs. All dhammas are empty in the sense that each one depends so much on others that is nothing by or in itself. And ultimately, Dhamma do not exist as separate entity, and that is very important. If taken quite by itself, and unconditioned as unconditioned a Dhamma is the void, and its own being is emptiness. Okay, a little bit confused. Reading that, I would like to stress the point of separate entity. Okay, I, different from you. Are we separate entity? Why? I'm a woman. You're a man. Why are we not separate? And I'm sitting here, you're sitting there. You have beer, I don't. I have eyeglass, you don't. Can we think about that? Why are we not separate entity? Is it a good question to ask? Is it a good question to think about? I don't have the answer. In a sense, we are separate entity. In a sense, in the conventional truth, we are separate entity because we have the differences. And that's how we can perceive intellectually. In a way, we're not separate entity. We're in this time and space. We exist in this time and space, right? And we have the same functional 5 sense doors. Are we correct? Our eyes can see, our nose can smell, da. But we are all subject to change. You're different from you were a baby. I'm different from I was a baby. And we're going through the same process of life. We were born, growing up, we get sick, even different kind of sickness, okay? And then eventually will be disappear from this time and space. So in the sense that the emptiness, the empty nature, we are not separate entities. But then conventionally, we are separate entity. We practice in a different way. We achieve different levels. But the goal is there. We're going towards the same direction. We all have the Buddha nature in us. In that sense, we are not separate entities. Make sense? Make sense? Good. So I'm overrun with my time. Like I said, my slides are open to anybody. Just let me know. One more slide and then I'll end. I like pictures, so I put a lot of pictures in my slides. So sunyata, meaning that impermanent, without immutable essence, interdependently existing, compositionally and conditionally arising and ceasing. It's a result of effect and it's a result of cause and effect. It's no absolute actuality of substance or mentality. May all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. May all beings be peaceful. And may all beings be liberated. Thank you very much.